sorry to keep you waiting. We had a bit of a tour to get here, which I just hope is not a metaphor for the future of Cork Hurling, but we're here now. On my own behalf and on behalf of our CEO, Kevin O'Donovan, our coaching officer, Ronan Dwan, who's also here, Hero Joe Blake, and obviously all of the county committee, you are all very welcome here to Parkfield this morning, and I think it's a unique and historic occasion for Cork GAA as we present to you an entire team of hurling managers from under 16 up to senior, along with our first ever high performance manager, Aidan O'Connell. All 5 form part of our new vision for Cork GAA, a new strategic approach and an effort to establish robust structures to underpin our future progress. In making these appointments, we sought to put in place the best possible people to manage Cork teams for the season ahead, but also to achieve a wider strategic objective, which will ensure a development pathway, not just for Cork players, but also for managers, coaches and selectors. This involves a new departure for us, the formal appointment of an under 16 management team, who will take that squad to under 17 and finish their initial journey at that point, before hopefully progressing to other roles within the Cork coaching setup. Every coach or manager who comes into our coaching family should be able to aspire to involvement with the Cork seniors, and we want to equip as many as possible with the skills and experience to do so. But that won't obviously be the pathway that everyone will take. It will ensure a large pool of talented and experienced mentors who will be there when needed for Cork teams, but who will also have a huge amount to contribute to our wider coaching network. And that has been as much a priority for us in this process as actually getting the best people in place for the coming season. Aidan O'Connell too plays a key role in this vision, both in terms of providing support to our management teams and in coordinating the progress of our players along their own pathway to ensure that we maximise not just the number of senior players, senior inter-county players who come through our development process, but also the number of players who stay on and contribute to our association at club level when they come to the end of their inter-county journeys at whatever stage of pathway that might be. And that someone of Aidan's calibre was willing to join our family is a huge positive for us, and I would like to wish him all the best in his new role. We were delighted that so many people who have achieved so highly, both in sport and in other areas of their lives, were willing to talk to us about Cork Hurling and to be part of the vision to which we are committed. And I would like to most sincerely thank all those who did come on board and all those who formed part of our discussions but did not take up roles on this occasion. At the time of my own election as county chairperson, and often since, I've spoken of the need for unity within the Cork GAA family if we are to achieve our full potential as a county, and I sincerely hope that these latest appointments are another step on that journey, and that the entire Cork GAA community can get behind them and all our teams for the year ahead. Without further ado, I would like to hand you over to the Cork Senior Hurling Manager, Kieran Kingston, Cork Under 20 Hurling Manager, Pat Ryan, Cork Minor Hurling Manager, Donald Cusack, Cork Under 16 Hurling Manager, Noel Furlong, and Cork GAA High Performance Manager, Aidan O'Connell. Your questions for the lads are very welcome. Anyone want to throw in the ball? No questions. No questions.
I'll throw in the ball. They say this management lark is an addiction. When you did leave in 2017, did you envisage coming back?
I suppose at the time when I did leave in 2017, very good reasons for it, and certainly at the time I said I didn't rule out the opportunity, if the opportunity arose, that I didn't rule out coming back at some stage. I actually didn't think it would be so soon, to be honest. But I suppose when John decided to step down and the opportunity arose, and the support came from the players, supported by people around the table, I said, yeah, look, if I can add something to the group, and I felt I still had that hunger, and it was, as I said, like an itch I had to scratch again, and the opportunity came, I grabbed it with both hands.
But you're in to win, I'm presuming.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not here to be competitive. We're here to win if we can at all. We know it's a massive challenge for, not just for me, for everyone at this table. And I suppose we're starved of success, and you heard what Tracy said there. Since 1990, we 4 All-Ireland. We haven't won. Next year is 15 years since we won the senior, and 21 the minor, back along. So everybody's starved for success, and you can see the focus that's going on with the appointments at the board level, and the appointment of Aidan, his role, and trying to create a culture that's a winning culture, and a culture that puts Cork in a position to compete at the top table on an ongoing basis at all levels. And that's the objective. And we know it's not going to be easy, and I'm certainly not going to sit here and give any guarantees or any promises, but certainly going to give a guarantee and a promise that we'll do everything in our power, and everyone just top table, everything in our power to ensure Cork will compete with the top table again into the future.
They say never go back, Kieran, but you look at Liam Sheedy and what he did this year, would that be a little bit of an inspiration?
They say never go back, but they say a lot of things and people don't do them, but it's what they say, like there's a hunger there, a fierce passion for hurling, a fierce passion for Cork hurling, a fierce passion for this group of players, and when the opportunity arises, and it's an honour to lead and manage this group, it's an honour to be manager of Cork. I've done this before, and as I say, when the opportunity arose, I didn't have to think too hard about it.
Does it feel like unfinished business?
To some degree, but look, I'm very realistic as well, and results speaks for themselves, and I suppose like we are, if we take the top 10 or 11 teams in the country, we are at the moment based on results a mid-table team, so there's a massive challenge there, and there's a huge amount of work to be done, and I'm very aware of that, but look, there's still a hunger and a passion to get us to that, I suppose, the holy grail in some ways, and to have us competing at the top table, as I said, on an ongoing basis, and yeah, there is a degree of that, of course, but there's that passion and hunger for hurling, that it never goes away.
So look, I suppose a turbulent couple of years for you in some sort of ways, and at the ratification last night, Musgrave delegate John Crean kind of made a comment, I couldn't support one of the people named tonight as manager, and that's Donald Cusack. That's for one reason and one reason only, for his support for Tom Humphreys in a very serious matter involving a young member of a sister association. Can you explain the situation that came about that did happen?
Look, I think I dealt with that at the time, right? It was very public in terms of my statement on that, and to be honest, that was it. Everything I had to say was said at the time, and to me that's in the past. I want to very much focus on the future and do the job that I'm here to do for Cork.
Would it not be helpful to kind of clarify the situation of how it came about?
Can I come in there, Shane? I suppose every question that should have been asked of Donal in the appointments process was asked by the appointments committee, and the appointments committee and Cork County Board are absolutely satisfied with all responses provided by Donal. And I suppose just want to comment as well, there's a headline maybe this morning that suggests that there was, serious opposition last night at County Board. So 3 delegates raised concerns. One of them was actually about the style of hurling as opposed to anything else. 3 delegates raised concerns out of probably 150 people in the room. So just to put that in a little bit of perspective.
It's just that it is, you're in the public life, and I know you put out the tweet at the time saying that you didn't want to make any further comment, but you're in public roles like the RTE, the GPA, so this is a very public matter, and it just, I think, can you necessarily choose when to decide to be public and when to decide to be private when it's such a huge thing, and then come in as Cork minor manager, which is again another public role.
Shane, with all due respects, I think people can decide when to be public and when to be private.
Is it unfair to ask this question?
Particularly,
you
Shane, when all our managers are operating in a voluntary capacity in their roles. So I think as a county board we are satisfied with all those explanations to us, and we are the people who are appointing them.
Donald, I'd like to just ask a different question in terms of when you actually found out you were in the frame for this. And there's a thing in newspapers in America called the TikTok, which is like, when everything happened. Like, when did you actually find out that you were in the frame and there was a possibility that you might be Cork minor manager?
Yeah, I suppose that over the weekend, it's well known that I would have spoken to the board about possibilities elsewhere within the organisation, and it looked very likely that I was going to be involved in some manner. I was contacted over the weekend about it. I was delighted to get the invitation to talk about it, and something I'm delighted to do. Don't have to tell you, Cork has been part of my life since I've been very young. Grew up in an environment where Cork was a very important part of the place where I was born, the family was born. Went on to play for Cork at all levels, underage, and right through to senior, and just was delighted to be able to contribute. My motivation is I want to give, I want to contribute to Cork, and I want to make a difference. So I'm delighted to get the invitation. Can
you put your stamp on it in a year? That's the question, really.
Yeah, look, I suppose like everybody sitting at this table here, everybody's got different challenges and different constraints. There's constraints at every level. There'll be many constraints at minor level. But I think when you look at a lot of the minors are only there for a year anyway, so my focus is to give it everything I can for that year and see where we end up.
Oh, you said before that you didn't know if a day like this would come for you in the past. When you got that phone call at the weekend, or when the meeting was arranged, was it surreal in any way for you?
Yeah, like it was, I don't know what you call it, surreal, just was excited, I think would be the best description, John. Excited at the possibility of getting back involved with Cork and contributing, like you said, but obviously wanted to find out what was involved in it. But I would say excitement was the overriding emotion.
Just to ask you and bring you in there, in terms of, you know, the connection between 20 and senior, obviously it's more and more important, and I know you've worked with Kieran before, but will you actually very much define your own style of hurling, or will you be kind of led in the pathway formed by the seniors saying, look, we want you to play this brand of hurling?
Well, I suppose there will be a huge connection with Kieran and myself, and the senior team and the under 20 team will be prepared. I suppose, look, the players are different. We have a different style of player at under 20 level. And maybe that would be associated with the senior team to a degree. But I think myself and Kieran had a fantastic working relationship in 2016, 2017. That won't change, and I think up through the whole ways from Noel to Donald to myself to Kieran, I think there would be a great synergy between the four of us as regards the way we want Cork teams playing going forward, where we want them prepared, and especially where we want the characters we want in the field, and the leadership qualities we want to exude in all those players. So I think the synergy would be great between all of us, you know.
And you saw, obviously, the excitement and the kind of the positive vibe that the under 20 footballers and the way they won the All Ireland this year. I presume that's almost like the template for what you're looking to do and drive forward into the seniors.
Well, I suppose you can see by that how the Cork public is starting success, and any bit of success we get, that way the Cork public will react to it. And Cork hurling is huge in people's lives, and until you're involved in it, you actually don't realise how much it means to the Cork public. I suppose for the four of us up here, I suppose I'd just like to speak on the part of the fact I wouldn't be here if my club was involved with us, and SARS has been a huge part of my career and my life, and I just would like to reiterate how much they've meant to me getting here, and it's a huge opportunity for myself, for all of us here, but our clubs are foremost in our minds on a day like today.
Yeah.
I think if I might come in on that, I think the important part and component of us all agreeing to come on board was, I suppose, the culture that the board is setting now. And I think it's important to emphasise that the culture the board is setting, supported by Aidan in his new role as high performance manager, and we're all creating that high performance culture for Cork hurling, from Noel right up to Donald to Pat to up to senior, irrespective of who's in charge of those teams. That there's a succession in terms of players, succession in terms of culture, strength and conditioning, it's a transitional period from one to the other, and that's seamless. And then we ensure there's a seamless transition of a player, whether it is strength and conditioning, whether it is culture, whether it is whatever it is about that player, and groups of players, that is seamless from one to the other, that players are not coming up to a senior culture like we had to do in the past and create development squads and say, look, we'll put you in a fast track for a year or two or whatever, try and bring you up to the level of it. That's seamless. I'm very happy that the people that are around the table here, having spoken to them all and be part of the culture that we're talking about, that will be part of how we do our business. And that's important, and I know we've already spoken to the lads here around that.
Talk about Kieran doing your business. How close are you to actually finalising your management in your backroom team? I mean, for instance, with Aidan won't necessarily oversee the S&C for the hurlers. I presume there'll be somebody appointed to that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were ratified last night, appointed on Sunday night. Of course, there was a bit of a lead into that in terms of your thinking and whatever, but we are, I suppose, any backroom team, there's what, 18, 22 minutes, some have a lot more than that. I'm very close to finalising mine 90% of the way there, without getting into individuals at this stage, because there are some people for different reasons that want to give a bit of time to sort out some domestics or work or whatever. So we're very close to finalising, and as I said today, I'm not going to mention individuals today, I think that would be unfair, but in due course we'll be announcing a full backup, and that will involve strength and conditioning people, medical people, coaching staff, etc. So yeah, that is a big part of it, supported by Aidan in particular under the strength and conditioning. But no, he won't be doing, he'll be overseeing and supervising and supporting what's happening in that area for Cork senior hurlers and senior footballers and minor 21s and everything. But actually the implementation of it, we will have our own people who are in place.
And just to come in on that, I suppose again at the outset of the process, county board meetings during the summer and so on, as people's terms came to an end, we did make it clear that we wanted to have the high performance manager in place before we completed new appointments, not because the high performance manager would play any direct role in those appointments, but I remember stating that like I wanted our new senior manager, whoever that would be, to be talking to Aidan O'Connell even before his appointment was confirmed, so that they could be working together in putting the best supports in place for our elite teams. And you know that is what has materialised, and I know that Kieran has already been in consultation with Aidan on various aspects of his plans, and the others also will do so before any backroom teams are finalised. So Aidan will play an important supporting and coordinating role in that, and you might want to talk about that yourself.
Yeah, high performance manager, I suppose, what is it? You know, I think a lot of people are asking that question. It's my job to work with the hurling coaches at all levels and the football coaches at all levels to build a support team around their management structure, to work with the managers with that. That's from nutrition to strength conditioning to video analysis to the medical side of things. So support them as much as I can and help and use my experience and add value to their backroom teams. And then, of course, the other side of that coin is the challenge. Once those infrastructures are in place, to challenge them that everything's at the standards required to drive the county forward. That's essentially the job that I'm in.
And Aidan, what's the extent of the remit? Like if a difference of opinion arises between you and a manager, who has the final say, as it were?
We haven't had many disagreements yet.
Okay.
But that's normal in high performance sport, in professional sport, into county level. Those disagreements are going to happen all the time, and they're healthy, and you work through them and you find a better path because of those disagreements. So it will be very normal. From the environment I've come from, that's very normal. It's a very normal part of the performance process. So I look forward to a couple of disagreements there. Yeah.
I think we all hope Aidan will challenge us in all
Yeah.
aspects of our roles.
Yeah.
So I expect he'll challenge me in some of my decisions, and I'm sure he'll challenge the other people at this table as well, which is what we want.
I mean, Donald, you played, obviously, you said it yourself, I mean, having the league level. I suppose it's an unusual opportunity, is it, for a county like Cork to actually have a clean slate to start with in terms of 16s, minors, 20 seniors? I mean, would you say like that it is absolutely fundamentally important, so like to grasp that rare opportunity, you know?
I think the most important thing here, Tony, is that there's joined up thinking, everybody working together. I mentioned being excited at the thought of getting involved with Cork. One of the big things there was the overall vision and plan that was in place. And I think I had a really good meeting with Aidan already, spent a good few hours talking about high performance from different angles, but I think it's that whole coming together of everybody working for one purpose, and that being Cork being successful. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. I know Aidan's going to grow his unit. I said it during the summer. I felt the most important appointment at the time, after the senior appointment, obviously was going to be Aidan's position, and I do think it's a fantastic opportunity for everybody to start moving in one direction, but also with a clear strategy, clear vision that we can all execute on. I think I know I'm no different to everybody else. We just want to give to Cork. I know all the players in my own generation, any of them that I talk to, they all want to give to Cork. We want to give with a purpose, with an intention that we're all going somewhere. And I think, as has been spoken already, and Kieran spoke very well about it, and Pat, Aidan's role and the growing of that culture, I would say, within Cork, that culture of excellence. I see it from, obviously, winning is very important to all of us. That's why there is competitions, and that's why there is All-Irelands. But I definitely, for example, from a minor point of view, would see the development of these players as important as that. And I don't think that they're, spoke to Aidan about this, I don't think they're mutually exclusive aspirations though. I think very much part of the development of a young player as an athlete and a competitor is developing that will to win, and that, I suppose, understanding how to express that desire to win through your your attitude, through your training, and ultimately through your playing, all contributing towards that culture of excellence that we're all talking about.
I think Kieran, sorry to ask one more, I think if people are looking in from the outside in Cork, I mean, certainly with the way the football and the 5-year plan and now this, there would be a sense that Cork are getting their SHIT together, which is probably some people might feel is overdue. How would you characterise, you said that you thought Cork were a mid-table team, how would you characterise where Cork hurling is going into 2020?
In a general sense, and
it's senior first, because obviously that's the top table.
When you say mid-table, Tony, I mean, I suppose results, I'm basing that on most recent results. On the other side of the equation, we've got to look at and say that Cork over the last couple of years have been thereabouts at senior level, and be very, very unlucky in games, just in close-out games that you would have hoped that they would in vital stages of the season. I suppose when I go back, you're looking at that, you're looking at the results of where you are at the moment. But you're also looking at the potential you have in the squad, that I know very, very well. Core of them are in their peak years between 25, 26, 27 and up. They're in their peak. In addition to that, you have a group behind them who are, I suppose, have a lot of experience, albeit that they're only 21. Some of them are not even 22 yet, but they have a huge experience behind them. So you have a mix there that's coming to its top performance. In addition to that, we spoke a lot about the supporters coming from a high performance culture behind you, and on top of that, then you've underage. Cork has competed in the last 3 years, less than 3 years, 2 years. Minor All Ireland and under 17 and 1, minor we lost in 21 and 20. So you have, like, I see my role in terms of maximising the group that we have, in terms of that I just mentioned, the integration of those players as they're transitioned up from minor to 20 and up into senior, and we've really good players. As I said, very, very close to pulling off minor and 21. So it's an exciting time for Cork hurling. And then when you have a culture that we're talking about here, not here about culture and about environment and about standards and all that, and that seamless through 16s up to senior, supported by, as I said, by the board and supported by the people around you. And my role, and any of the lads in their role, you're as good as the support you get from the board, in any type of performance environment, the people around you, and the transitional groups that are not just focused on winning, but they're also focused on development of the player. And I've said it many times, it's very important that we, at all levels, create that environment and a culture within the environment that enables the players flourish, both as people and both as, obviously, as hurlers, collectively and individually. And if we get the individual right, the collective will come right. And I think that's very important for us as managers, that we take that approach. Of course we want to win. We all want to win. And Cork, as Nolan and Pat and everyone says, Cork is starved of success. We know that. So in going back, we have to realise that this is where we're at. The stats speak for themselves in terms of what we've won in the last number of years. But that doesn't mean that there's a massive passion here at this table. There's a massive hunger. There's a massive drive. And every single thing that can be done will be done to ensure into the future we are competing for major honours, and that's our objective. And we wouldn't be here if that wasn't our objectives. There are no guarantees, but certainly that's how we look at it.
It's Cork's turn to pick the short straw in terms of the Munster Championship next year. The 3 games in a row, finishing up, starting with Limerick, 3 weeks break, then Waterford, Clare, and finishing in Thurles. Have you looked that far ahead in terms of how you're going to approach it? Because the 3 games in 3 consecutive weekends has been a difficulty for previous teams.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's only just out as I just saw this morning. So no, we haven't got into that. But we've an awful lot to do, and how we prepare for those games is done now in the next number of months, and what we do and the base that we build up in our players and our backroom team and the culture we create, and the condition we have to enable us to play at high intensity 3 games in a row, 3 weekends in a row, be it injuries or be it recovery or whatever. So look, that work is done. It's not done coming up to the game. It's done over the next 4 or 5 months, and that's the way we're looking at it. And this month really is around planning and getting that in place. But it's Munster Championship is dog eat dog, and we've seen that over the last couple of years. And this year's going to be no different, irrespective of the fact that we have 3. Okay, but next year you might have a different job with it. It is what it is, and we'll just grasp that and give it our best shot.
Or the chain field, would you come by?
Thrilled, I'd say.
I'd say, not too impressed. I'll leave it there.
I think at this stage, let's just watching the clock, we might take the opportunity, and I know some of you will want to do, obviously, your own individual interviews or smaller interviews with the lads. So just before we move on to that, can I thank you sincerely for coming here this morning and for all the work that you do to promote our games. I know we don't always see eye to eye or agree, but the work that you do is hugely important as well in the promotion of GA. So thanks for all of your efforts also. And I suppose I consider myself hugely privileged to be sitting here today with these 5 people at the table with me. I think that's an immense honour, and I'm delighted to have them all leading us forward in terms of Cork Hurling and, from Aidan's point of view, our overall situation in relation to high performance. So thanks again, and the lads, you can pick them off there as you need them. Joe will help to coordinate, and we might get some photographs as well for the photographers in a minute. We have a few Cork jerseys and things like that, so Joe will try